What have you learned about your team so far that you didn't know in the preseason, and do you feel good going down into Columbia?
Well, I feel pretty good about from an offensive standpoint. I think we've shot the ball pretty well. We've done a really good job in transition, and we've shared the ball really well. So all those things, I'm pleased with. I think the other end of the course where I'm concerned, and I look back now, the game Sunday against North Carolina Central, I was disappointed we gave up 70 points. 31 of those were in the fourth quarter, and we had a lot of freshmen out there. So after three quarters, we'd given up 39 points and I think scored 85. So, from that standpoint, but you still, when you watch the film, you see a lot of things that we need to clean up. We need to do better. We're not very good on the ball. We're not very good off pick on the ball, or defending pick on the ball, I should say. We got to get better at it, and we got to have more urgency and compete a little bit harder, especially in this game. South Carolina, obviously, and I call this a butt game. We better get our butt back in transition. We better get our butt down and try to guard them and keep them in front of us. And we better get our butt on them and box them out, because they're really good at all those things.
Alec, you can go ahead.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask about how exciting it is for this program, for your players to have this opportunity to be a part of one of these really big marquee non-conference matchups that's, top 10 matchup playing the number one team in the country.
Yeah, I appreciate that outlook. That's what I'm trying to sell too. It's a great opportunity. It's a big challenge. Don Staley's done an unbelievable job in building that program. They're having the number one recruiting class in the country every year. So they got All-Americans stacked up over there, 2 or 3 deep. So it's a big challenge for us, but it's also an opportunity, and it's going to be, great also to get this type of game in before we enter ACC play. They're going to show you all your weaknesses. They're going to exploit everything that you need to get better at. And so that's the way we got to look at it. And you go down there and have an opportunity, like I said, against one of the top teams in the country, and measure yourself, see where you are.
Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, Wes, you mentioned measuring stick kind of game, and this is not the first time you've played a game like this early in the season. I remember last year you played Maryland, and you've had some similar games. Do you like playing a game like this early to kind of get a gauge on where you are and what you need to work on? And in a game like this, what do you look for from your team? What do you, other than the result, obviously, what are you looking for to accomplish with your team?
Well, like I said, I think we're going to have to play really hard. I know this sounds, like locker room talk, but you're going to have to be really tough. They play hard, they compete hard, and if you don't do that, if you don't match that intensity, they're going to run right over you. But it is good to get a game. Now, again, Thursday night at 9 or 10 o'clock, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, but right now it sounds like a great idea to again prepare you for ACC play. We got some of the top teams in the country in our conference, and obviously South Carolina is the top team in the country. So it's like Alex said, it's a great opportunity to see where we are and find out what we need to work on and get better at. And so and again, to be, I just found out, obviously it's a Jimmy V game, a V Foundation game, whatever. And that's pretty neat too. When you're at NC State and you get to be connected with Jim Valvano again, it's a pretty neat deal. So I'm excited about that as well, because obviously he was a great coach, a great man, and has a great cause here. So it's a win-win. We're on, national TV, and a great exposure for our program. And that was obviously a big plus in this whole thing, was getting a game like this time of year.
Thanks a lot, and good luck Thursday.
Thank you.
Casey, you can go ahead.
Hey, Coach, thanks so much for taking the time. I'm sorry to harp on this still. You mentioned it will be a good opportunity for your team, but also what about for the ACC, to represent the ACC? I know Gonzaga and South Dakota put up a really good fight against South Carolina. and they've gotten kind of a recognition for that as well. So just kind of as a whole, what does this game mean for the conference?
Yeah, I agree, Casey. It's we're not only representing NC State, which is always first and foremost, but we're also representing the ACC. And we've I think battled with the SEC on several occasions in the last few years to be considered the top conference in the country based on RPIs and things like that. And so it's going to, again, going into their place is going to make it even a tougher challenge. Next year we'll get them back here, so that'll be great for us and great for the ACC. But I think anytime you can cross over and play SEC against ACC or against the Big Ten or whoever, I think that's great. Great opportunity to help your conference and help our reputation nationally and even in recruiting and things like that as well. So it's a big responsibility.
Jonas, you can go ahead.
Hey, Coach Moore, thank you for taking the time this afternoon and speaking with us.
Thanks,
A lot of coaches talk about leading up to a game, they can watch how their team prepare and kind of know how the team's going to perform. Maybe not to win or lose, but they can just tell how they're going to approach the game. Can you tell your team's approach has been different in practice this week heading to the South Carolina game? And if so, like, where are they, you think, heading to this game?
Yeah, we took yesterday off after Sunday's game. So we try to normally get in a routine where if at all possible, we have a day off and then 2 days to prepare for each opponent. Now we're coming up on a stretch after this game where we'll go like 6 or 7 straight days without a day off because we only have 2 days each to prepare. But, we've only had one practice since then, but I think we got some good stuff done this morning in preparation for it. Like I said, some of it's not rocket science. You better be ready to guard the ball. You better be ready to get back. There's certain things that you have an opportunity to control that you better control against a team like South Carolina, or it's going to be a long night. So, we're focused on trying to slow them down as much as we can. And then obviously offensively, it's going to be a little bit tougher now. You got some great athletes out there and, inside Aaliyah Boston, top right. She won the Lisa Leslie Award last year as a freshman, which is pretty unbelievable. So Zia Cook, and then also Henderson. They got a lot of weapons, and it's hard to try to take away everything. So we are trying to focus on doing the best we can. We're going to have to help each other quite a bit. It's going to take a team defensive effort to have a chance. But I thought our kids were pretty good, and I think we're definitely getting where we want to get.
Charlie, you're next.
Good afternoon, Wes. You're coming in at number 8 in the polls, so this that must be a sign of respect there. So just talk about your reaction to being number 8, and you playing South Carolina coming up.
Yeah. Again, I always have to remind everybody, usually these rankings are based on what you've done in the past and what you did last year. And it's a whole, it's a new team. And we do have, a lot of starters back and that sort of thing. But the difference is obviously Ace Konig's out of the starting lineup. And then also we had, 3 seniors last year coming in off the bench. And now probably we got 3 freshmen coming in off the bench. So that's a big difference. But still, it's always great for your team and your players to get those kind of accolades. And, last 2 years, we were fortunate enough to finish in the top 10 in the country. In fact, I think last year we finished 8th. So, you want to try to be a program that is there every year, consistent. And, this is a big test right out of the gate here to see where we are. But, it's exciting to have number 1 against number 8 and national TV and all that. I think they're allowed 3,500 fans. So that'll be different for us too. We've been playing in front of the limit of 25 fans. And so it's going to be quite a change now going in there with 3,500 allowed. So it'll be a true road test.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
Mitchell, you can go ahead.
Yeah, just one other one. I was just wondering, kind of in this year where everything's so fluid and everything can change at the drop of a hat. How did this game come together? Was this you and Coach Staley just getting on the phone with each other, or was this done at a higher level?
No, we had about three. We were supposed to go to, first of all, we're supposed to go to the Bahamas. That got nixed early. We were going to Florida, and we were going to play two Ten teams in Florida. We were starting a home and home with another Big Ten team, and then we had the Big Ten Challenge. And so we had 4 games against Big Ten teams that we lost. And one of them was a tournament with 2 games. So I didn't really want to try to get in another tournament. We'd already had 3 fail. So I decided let's just get our own games. And so we did add a couple of home games. We were also supposed to host play in the preseason NIT and host 3 games in it. We lost that. But at the same time, we lost some really good games and some big opponents. And so, South Carolina is somebody that, quite honestly, they're 3.5 hours away. We can bus to them. We were able to agree on, home and home. So we get them here next year. And I did put a call into ESPN and say, hey, if we put this game together, do you think it's going to be on either ESPN or on the Deuce? And they assured me, yeah, we get this kind of matchup, it's going to be on. So it just made for a perfect fit. And South Carolina they have trouble finding games now. Let's face it, nobody wants to play them. And so they were eager to play. And Don plays a tough schedule. And I think everybody's also, as you said, they're struggling this year. We're playing 20 conference games, and instead of having 11 non-conference games like we normally would, this year we only have 5 non-conference games. So you kind of got to weigh what you want to do. A lot of schools said we just want to play, mid-majors, whatever. But we felt like it was important that we get a game like this in and test our team and find out where we are before we jump into the ACC. So worked out great. They needed games, and we wanted a marquee game like this, and it was a good fit.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
You can go ahead.
Hi, Coach. You mentioned Boston earlier. How important is that matchup with Cunane, and what would you like to see Cunane do against her?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's going to take a whole team against Boston. I'm afraid if you isolate her and Elisa down there, I'm worried about foul trouble and everything else. So we're definitely going to have to do a good job of helping wherever we can and trying to keep the ball out of there as much as we can, because once she gets it on the block, yeah, it's tough. But, yeah, just the biggest thing is, just trying to, again, it's 2 of the top posts in the country, and just understanding, though, it's still South Carolina against NC State, and don't blow that matchup so much that we look at. That's the only thing we look at. I think we got to, make sure that Elisa, sometimes Elisa passes too much. I had to remind her the other day, you're not a point guard. We get it into you deep. I want you to score. So obviously we want to get her the touches down there and try to get her in a good position to score. It's important for us. And but we also want to make sure defensively that we provide some help and don't leave her out there on the island where she maybe gets in some foul trouble. So just trying to, again, make Boston have to come out and guard. I think that's where, Elisa can shoot the 3 really well. Most of our post players can. So we'll try to pull her out away from the bucket some and make her guard out there. And but again, she's a great player. We had her on our campus, I think, when she was like a freshman in high school, and just a great young lady, great family. And so we're going to have our hands full with her.
Thanks, Coach.
I don't see any more hands raised. Did anyone else have anything for Coach? We can do probably 1 or 2 more before he hops on his next call. But if not, then we'll let him go. Rob, go ahead. We'll give you the last one.
Coach, does this seem like an opportunity where NC State, and that's not to say you guys aren't at an elite level, but South Carolina has won a national championship. Do you feel like this is another ceiling to crack, or an opportunity to crack another ceiling, or maybe get to another level?
Yeah, I mean, I think just getting in these games is a good start right now. It's you're right. I mean, there's probably South Carolina and maybe one or two other schools, are probably considered the elite right now. So yeah, you'd love to be able to break into that. And again, you gotta play these people to be able to have a chance to get in that conversation. So again, we get that in the ACC. We got some elite teams in it as well, but definitely South Carolina winning a national championship, being ranked number one the last 2 years essentially presents another opportunity. So yeah, it's great. And again, we know how tough it's going to be and how well we're going to have to play to have a chance. But again, you don't have a chance unless you go play it. So we're excited about the opportunity.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody.